What's up, everybody? Welcome to the VSM Real Estate Podcast, getting you closer to massively successful players in the Twin Cities real estate market. I'm your host, Andre Anderson, today joined by Dan Vishnevetsky of the Thomas Jusula team in Finance of America.
Correct.
Yes, I got it that time. Yeah, that was a good one.
Good.
All right, yes. Well, thank you so much for coming. I know you've come to VSM quite a few times doing kind of presentations and everything like that. I know you work closely with Joe Masselter, and you guys kind of connected and you kind of wanted to be on the podcast. So can you give a quick introduction of yourself to the audience who might not have known you at all quite yet?
Yeah. I've been in the business for 5 years.
Yep.
And joined the Thomas Jusula team in November of 18. Mm-hmm. And it's been the best thing I've done and never looked back since.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. I think you were doing mortgages before, I think with AMEC or something like that. Am I correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
AMEC, and Wells Fargo, and Stearns Lending as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for sure.
So,
yeah, for sure. So when you're, for Finance of America,
mm-hmm.
what is there kind of like a difference when you've, maybe switched teams, to the Thomas Jusula team?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it was a great opportunity for me. Mm-hmm. Getting the exposure, the proper tools, and the one thing I'll say about the team that we have is we're all friends, and the environment is amazing, and there's no competition, mm-hmm. and we really truly would be there for each other, mm-hmm. if we needed one another. Like if my car broke down, which there has been some in the past,
right, for sure.
There's no doubt I could call anyone on the team, and we're all just a big group, and the atmosphere is amazing. Mm-hmm. Like I said, there's no competition, so it's just it's great.
Mm-hmm.
When you enjoy going to work, it makes you enjoy what you do more, and therefore you just become more successful.
Yeah, just ninja roll out of bed every morning, looking forward to it. So it sounds like the team has quite a bit of great culture kind of built into it.
Absolutely.
And obviously that has a lot to do with leadership and everything like that. So
yes.
Would you say that that was kind of like deliberate, or is it just like a lot of great individuals coming together, or maybe a little bit of both that gives it the culture, that's really attracted you to that team?
It's truly a lot of great individuals coming together. On our team, there's no sense of one above the other. It's more like we just sit down and we collaborate. Mm-hmm. We bounce ideas off each other, and obviously Thomas is in the top 1% in the nation of originators.
Mm-hmm.
He has been for a decade now. So to be learning from someone like that is an incredible opportunity and a wonderful experience.
Right.
And to be learning from the other guys is, it's just truly amazing. I've honestly never been happier working.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you've gotten to the right place, it almost seems like it's not really work. It's almost like it's like you kind of enter it and it's like it could be a hobby, but obviously when you're bringing yourself that level, that standard of excellence and pushing yourself, you have to do the work. But like it almost feels like I get to work here. You know? Or like it's
exactly,
man.
Exactly.
It just kind of fits that mold of life.
And the support staff, the processors, the underwriters, the closers. I mean, we're all internal. So what I mean by that is, most places have their processor, out in California, and the underwriter is in Illinois, mm-hmm. right? Here, we're all in one office, believe it or not,
so
which is very rare.
To each other.
So literally, we just go to each other, and the support staff is amazing, mm-hmm. amazing. I mean, I think one of the reasons why the Patriots are so great is because everybody's doing their job,
right? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the same sort of mindset where we are. Everybody just does their job, and we all work as a team. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah.
So for support staff, what does that usually kind of entail? Are the people that are just like helping the transaction along and doing everything, just so people can kind of get a understanding of what happened in the background?
Sure. So you have your processor who collects the documents and they work on the loan to get to the underwriter and get it back from the underwriter, work on the conditions, collect more documents. You have your underwriters who basically decide whether or not you get the loan.
It's like the black box.
The black box,
right? Yeah.
Let's
shake it up. And you get a loan. No, you don't.
Right. No one's ever said, God, this is an amazing underwriter, right? Why does he need these documents? Well, why this? I already gave this. Yeah. But no, I mean it's just you got the underwriter and then you got the operations manager who watches over everything, every loan, right? And then you have our closer. We have one in-house, and I believe we have one corporate, but the support staff consists of basically anyone that's not an actual mortgage broker, a loan officer, mortgage advisor, basically the behind-the-scenes staff.
For sure. Yeah. And I think for a lot of consumers or, our audience, it's really important to kind of understand, especially if they're kind of looking into getting a loan for the first time. Sometimes there are people that are originators that are just like kind of a one-person team, but for the, kind of mega producers in the top 1%, to see the level of service and how many hands touch it and whatnot can be very important, and like what the transaction happens. Because for the most part, most people just like talk to the process or like whoever, like the point person,
right,
like who might be like the originator or whoever is like kind of the face of the team, and then they'll just kind of get updates, but they have no idea what's happening, kind of behind the scenes, but thank you for sharing, a little bit about that, and I
absolutely,
think
absolutely,
super helpful. So,
yeah,
very nice. So how did you actually get started into real estate? Slid into mortgages, or
I just wanted to get my foot in the door at a big company and do something different. And so I went into a friend of mine who was a financial advisor at Wells Fargo, got me a job, started as a banker, and I just, I've always had great work ethic. So I would always work, and I would be very focused on referring to my partners. And he saw my work ethic, the mortgage guy that was working at my branch, and he sat next to me, and he kept, kind of trying to push me into, doing mortgages. But it's a scary thing because, going from a salary job to a 100% commission job is a scary thing.
It is, yes.
But, I did it, and had amazing success there, and then decided to get my broker's license, and then here I am.
Nice, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I know, like, from personally, like, right when you were like looking at me and saying like it's a scary transition. Like, I personally have gone from like the salary to 100% commission. How was that period of time? Was it like super stressful, and or were you kind of like already aligned with like sales skills and sales positions kind of before, even though they were salaried? Or
well, right. I mean, I didn't know much about mortgages itself, right?
Yeah.
But I'm a firm believer that if you want something bad enough, you work hard, you can attain that goal. And that's the kind of mindset that I went into mortgage with. I grew to love it. I didn't go into it because I thought I would love it.
So
does that make sense?
Yeah, it was like an acquired taste,
right,
kind of thing.
Right. So I worked hard. I had sponge like mindset where I just absorbed as much as I could, sat next to the best guys, did what they did, approached the business like they approached the business, have had a lot of great mentors, and that's what made me move so fast through my first year and a half doing mortgage at Wells.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and I think that's super crucial for people that are, kind of getting started or taking a look. You really have to have that like sponge, like being like a sponge mentality, like learn as much as you can, and just be wide open, and like finding mentors, as you said, like,
and you gotta work hard. You gotta work hard. I mean, with time, it gets easier because you become more experienced, or you're building relationships. But getting into the business, you got to work hard, and if you're not prepared to work hard, it's going to be difficult to succeed.
Right, for sure. No doubt. So what did you do to find mentors, during that time period? Because it seemed like that was a huge part of it too, and I know mentors can be huge.
Yes. I wanted to know who, at that time, I wanted to know who the best was, who's one of the best, or who's in the top certain percentage, and I basically just picked up the phone and called them. And, I picked their brain, and I sat beside them. I sat in on some of their appointments. I mean,
that's cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I did that were like that. But I'm a firm believer in, to be successful, you have to learn from the best.
Right.
Right. And if you think you could do it yourself, there's just, especially in the industry today, it's really hard, because it's so much harder now, in my opinion, than it was back when I started. Because obviously refis were huge, refinances. Now we're mostly focused on purchase business. Rates have gone down a little bit.
So there's a little more.
Well, a little bit,
there.
Quite a bit actually. But who knows how long that's going to last?
Right.
So it really went from kind of calling people and helping people to refinance and crunching numbers, which is what a refi environment is, and showing them how they can save money, to purchase business where it's very relationship based, right? We work out referrals. I work with people like Joe. Him and I do great business together. But the reason why we do what we do so well is because we have the same beliefs.
For sure. Aligning goals,
aligning
values,
goals, helping
kind of
people, values. Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I'm guessing just because of your insane work ethic and your ability to kind of locate key producers or top producers and kind of the modeling process. It seems like you're an expert at modeling, because you're like, I need to learn, from the people that are producing the most. Things will go a lot easier for me rather than trial and error and whatnot.
Right.
So and I think a lot of people starting out in whatever kind of position, like sales or not even non-sales, sometimes they want to just trial and error and see what happens.
Right.
Your growth is definitely stunted in those areas. I'm guilty of that on certain occasions and whatnot too. So that's excellent. Is that kind of how you got into your current team? Did you kind of locate and just like, this is where I want to go, and this is the model I kind of went after it.
A friend of mine who worked at the previous company that I worked at went to work for Finance America. Went to work for Thomas, and he's very well known in the mortgage world.
Industry. Yeah.
But I asked how he was doing, and he was doing great. But bottom line is, I got a hold of Thomas myself, and it took a few times,
of course,
for him to meet with me. Yeah. But once we met, we clicked, and here we are. I think that back to what you were saying, if you really want something, you just got to go out there and get it. And if you don't, it's going to be hard.
Right, for sure. Yeah. I consistently hear that, if you have a goal and you want to do something and whatever, but you're not taking the action you get, then you actually don't want it bad enough, right? So,
exactly.
Like, you have to keep building that desire and everything. If it's like, if you're sitting around and like, oh man, what was me? And
exactly.
And kind of stuff, right?
And then back to what you were saying regarding trial and error. I think, in my opinion, a lot of it goes back to maybe newer people afraid to ask too many questions, without maybe sounding, not the smartest. But if you can just turn that off and don't be afraid to ask too many questions, ask too many questions, right? I think that'll eliminate, number one, it'll eliminate a lot of that error, right? But number two, it'll make you much more successful, but asking the right people.
Right, for sure.
The right questions.
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
You know?
And in order to do that, you really have to be observant. You know, you can't just go to like the top guy all the time for like little tiny things.
Exactly.
You know, so yeah, 100% there.
And sometimes that's what it takes is, you know, just sit back and just observe. Do what they do. Talk how they talk. You know, obviously put your own spin on it, but
yeah, for sure, no doubt. Yeah, you don't want to just be a, you know, kind of like a copycat or, you know, 100%, right? So,
right.
Yeah, but no, that makes a lot of sense. So, you know, on the team right now, what's kind of your duties? You know, what kind of inspires you to do the work that you do? And
man, honestly, you know, like I told you, I didn't go into mortgage thinking that I would love the business. I went into mortgage because I like to be in charge of my own income. Does that make sense?
Right, for sure.
And you work hard enough, you're going to make it happen. So I went into mortgage because obviously I was recruited and that belief. But I really love what I do. And, you know, the reason is because being a part of such a monumental moment in someone's life where they're purchasing the first, second, or third home, it's a humongous milestone. And it's an emotional one.
Very much so.
And to be able to be a part of that and experience that at the closing table is just absolutely humbling. And, you know, I'll give you an example of just how humbling can be. I had a closing with a couple, and they came to me because they were turned down by multiple lenders. They didn't think they could get a home. We figured out a way for them to finance the home, and you know, it wasn't the easiest thing to do, but we got it done.
Nice.
And I remember walking into the closing, and it was you know, a young husband and wife. They show up to the closing, and the first thing they do is they give me their phone and they say, "Hey, can you take a picture of us at the title company?"
That's awesome.
So I'm sitting there taking picture, and then they sit down, and then they, while one is signing documents, they're taking pictures of each other, and you could just see like the pure raw emotion and happiness, and that struck a chord in me. And you know, going back to this, you know, to be a part of such a moment in life, such a emotional moment, it's an honor.
Yes, for sure.
That's why I love what I do, because I truly feel like I'm helping, you know, and I just happen to do mortgage. Yeah,
for sure, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it's so fulfilling. There's so many lives that you change, and sometimes you can get lost in the day-to-day, you know, like, it's kind of like this file here, this file there, what can we do, what issues that we're resolving, you know, but when you have the personal face-to-face connection, especially at closing, where, you know, you can become the hero of the day or the villain of the day, you know, or of the year or the lifetime, right? You know, there's so much pressure, and when things go well, it's just amazing. Like, there's like that moment of serendipity when people are just like, oh yes, the stars in their eyes, we finally got here. This is especially for like first-time home buyers, or if it was just like a long process, you know, maybe they had like a bankruptcy and they haven't had a home, you know, owned a home for like 7 years, you know, especially these days with the recession that happened and whatnot, and you're getting them back to where they were, and like now they're feeling like they're up to speed, and you're part of the process that you know that got them there. And that's just so fulfilling, and especially at first, those are just the most amazing, and then they'll hit you every single time, you know, right in the heart.
You know, when it comes to service, you know, service is, in my opinion, the way that I practice is service is everything to me. I would rather give amazing service and not just be a turn and burn machine. Because in the end, not only is that what actually matters, but that's how you grow. For sure. And that's how you grow long term, and that's how you grow to be successful. You know, so with that being said, excellent service is something that is of the utmost importance. And we're not going to get too deep into what excellent service means here, but in my opinion, treat people like you want to be treated when it comes to the home buying process.
Right,
does that make sense? Especially if it's your first time, you're emotional, you're not sure what's going on, why this, why that.
And just be that guide.
Be that guide, man.
Yeah,
be that guide.
Yeah.
Just be there. Be there.
No doubt, yeah.
You know?
It's probably one of the most emotional processes or emotional things to go through as a person, Of course, probably engagement and wedding and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, right.
It's probably, up there, first time home buying. I mean, that's where sometimes people will have kids, or if it's like a forever home, or you never know,
man.
right? Like they're going to be there every single day. People spend how many hours in their home, just like, even if it's just sleeping, like that's a third of their life, you know, for the most part. So it's just, it's such a fulfilling thing, for sure. So, yeah, excellent. Thank you for sharing that, man. That's awesome. So, you kind of told us a little bit about yourself, how you got into mortgages, kind of what you're currently doing now. Do you have kind of like something on the horizon? You just kind of keep working and, kind of scaling what you're doing now? Or is there like kind of like a master plan for you that you have for the near future?
My master plan is, honestly, I don't have it mapped out, but I want to perfect my craft, not in the way of, yes, obviously there's, extra product knowledge and keeping updated and, but I want to inspire people. I want to teach people. I want to be that guy that people refer to as, you got to go with Dan because he's amazing in what he does. I think, again, this is all my opinion, but in this industry, right, anybody can crunch numbers. You can be the best mathematician out there, but that's not what makes you, in my opinion, great. That's not what makes you a great mortgage advisor.
For sure, yeah.
What makes you great is being able to relate to people and just, making people happy.
For sure, no doubt.
And if you're happy, then it makes it that much easier.
Right, for sure.
So my long-term goal is to just build a clientele, build relationships, relationships with my partners, with my clients.
For sure.
Because, in my opinion, a client isn't from the pre-approval to the closing table. A client is from our first face-to-face meeting until I stop doing mortgages.
Oh, right, for sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, until the moment you die, right? Yeah.
until the moment I die.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop breathing. No, but until I get on Social Security. No, but no, man. It's honestly. I mean, it's in my opinion, this business is built on relationships. Relationships. So, if you can relate to your clients, and I want forever clients. I don't want a paycheck, a bigger paycheck because I'm doing more units, because I'm doing more volume, And I'm being honest here, right? I'm being 100% honest because to me, money isn't everything. You do the right things, the money will come, right? But it's just doing those right things and helping people.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much everyone in this business always talks to the importance of relationships, so it's definitely not uncommon to highlight that so much.
Yeah.
And I know that next time you're on for part 2, we'll dive kind of into the customer service experience and everything like that, and really probably dive down into the relationships and for people that are really interested, definitely stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
And we can just cover everything for that. So
yeah.
Is there anything else that for people that are kind of like really jived with your story so far, that they might want to reach out to you or something like that? Is there anything else that you kind of want to share that's a part of your story or anything like that?
I wanted to share a quote, and this quote means a lot to me, and it's a quote I think a lot of people have already heard. But
well, let's hear it still.
So Are you sure?
Of course.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm
okay.
ready.
So, people may forget what you said, what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel.
Oh, that's so true.
But
so true.
If you think about that, man, and like relate it to yourself, it's like, that's what I want.
Right, for sure.
That's what I want to accomplish with my career, is just make people feel good.
Have that lasting impact.
Have that lasting impact.
For sure. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Where can people reach out to you?
Yeah, they can reach out to me on Instagram, DanV_Home Loans. Reach out to me on Facebook, Dan Vishnevetsky, my business page. Otherwise, my cell phone, which is the best way to reach me. That number is 612-757-6393, 612-757-6393. And the email is dvishnevetsky@financeofamerica.com.
We can maybe put that, as a banner or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Maybe like
it's a badass last name.
Maybe like have like a plane flying across, like Chris Lindahl, like Dan Vishnevetsky. Right? Dude, no, but yeah, that's the best way to reach me.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us, on this podcast. We'll definitely look forward to a little more customer service, relationship building, all that kind of stuff next time. So thank you guys for tuning in. See you next time.